beautiful young buck. Look at that. Who knows, this might be one of the better antlers I find this year. Beautiful antler.
On this episode of the White Knuckle Web Show, we rejoin Zach and Ben as they continue to pile up the sheds in Indiana.
Beautiful little 5-point side. I don't know if you can see all those rubs behind me, but the whole going out towards the end of this point, it all looks like that. I mean, just shredded. When I get in a spot like this, it's almost like I'm still hunting. Moves so slow. A lot of hickory and oak leaves in here. Makes the shed really hard to see, so there's times you need to pound ground and other times you need to just kind of crawl along, and this is one of those spots. Been out here a couple hours wandering around. I think we just walked up on a pretty nice one. I think about right there. Looks like a pretty good heavy horn. I don't recognize it yet, but let's go check it out. Oh, it doesn't look as big as I thought it was when I first saw it. Looks like it's been chewed on already. Be a pretty good buck in another year. Well, this is unfortunate. Just got done walking up on that antler we just found. Here's a dead buck. And it fits right down on that pedicle. So this is a deer that is not going to get any bigger. I thought the chews on the end of these points looked funny, like they were more like coyote. That's why I got to looking around, and sure enough I started seeing hair and came over here, and here lays the buck. Let's see if we can find the other one. He might have dropped it a long ways from here, and this is just where he met us in, but it's worth checking out anyway. Look, there's the other side. You can see where this deer had a struggle here. There's the other side. Doggone it. Would have been a nice buck in a couple years, but that's what happens in the wild. There's a million ways to die. I just saw what I mean, it looks like a really good horn. Doesn't look like it's got super long tines, but it's a good one. Let's go get it. Look at that. Pretty. I'll take that any day of the week. Even on Saturday. Yeah, I probably don't take the camera out enough, but you know, if you just capture the highlights, it makes it look pretty easy. I'll tell you what, if you want to find a lot of sheds, at least in the areas I'm hunting, there's a lot of lonely miles. And I love it, or I wouldn't do it, obviously, but sometimes you walk and walk and walk because you want to find that spot where one's been laying and walk up on that awesome tines upset next to a bed, but it rarely works out that way.
Well, I've been walking for about 4 hours now. I have yet to find a shed. Ended up actually walking quite a bit of really good ground that I thought that I was going to find a shed in. Unfortunately did not. Well, just turned the camera off. Dug a candy bar out. Taking a little mid-shed walk snack break. Literally just walked up on a shed. I think I did my interview probably about right there. Should just left the camera out, but it's not big, it's a spike. That may be one of the smallest antlers I think I've ever found. Just walked up on it. I mean, I can find that, but I can't find a big old 60, 70 inch antler. That's my 7th dink yearling shed so far this year. I've had a bad start for size. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. It's another fresh shed, another pocket shed.
Perfect conditions for shed hunting today. Cloudy, been raining all morning. It's almost hot, really. I think it's like 48. Got 6 hours or so to look today. I'm in a great spot. Really expect to find a couple sheds today. Well, I'm a good 4 hours in to the hike today. And some of the, I mean, this place is just nutty with deer sign. And I think I finally walked up on a horn. It doesn't look real big, but it's laying right back in here. And we'll pick this little guy up. There it is. It's a monster 2-pointer. But it's been several miles since the last one. It's been about an hour since the last shed. I've been trying to stay positive. I really thought, I plan on finding 3 today. As much time in the place I'm looking, I mean, shouldn't be out of the ordinary. Most of the bucks have shed, but I just walked up on another one finally. It looks like it's been chewed on, but it looks like a pretty good antler, so let's go check it out. Beautiful horn. Dang nice. That's a pretty fresh antler too. And look at the squirrels have already mangled it. I've got pictures of this buck. I really thought he needed another year. Thought he might have been 3, but looks more like a 4-year-old to me. But beauty. That's a pretty antler. From that angle. Yeah. I'll take it any day. Well, things are picking up. I've been looping around right here close to where I found that big one. Oh, it's only been 20 minutes ago or so. And there's another one laying. I thought it was a match at first because it's a decent horn, but looks probably like maybe off a 2-year-old. Number 3 for the day. Here's the pile so far this year. We're gonna try to add to it a little bit this evening. I was just coming around this little limb here and I stepped on this little guy. Monster. But I'll put him in the pack. There's got to be another horn right here on this ridge. Well, I was beginning to think that that little dink earlier was going to be it for the day. Just stumbled on another one and it looks like a really awesome young deer. Oh yeah, that's what you wish pretty much every young buck could look like right there. Mass and 5 points. Okay, I've only made it about, I don't know, maybe 200 yards since that last shed I picked up, and I just spotted another one. Neat, neat, neat. Great young buck. It's like probably an awesome 2-year-old. Only a hardcore shed hunter knows what I'm talking about, but you walk on a sunny day. I started early because I knew I'd have to go slow. Then when the sun starts setting, you wish you could stop the sun. But then I'd never go home and I'd be in trouble. But cool horn, great day, 3 sheds.
driving out to Zach's right now. We're gonna walk the rest of the afternoon and into the evening and see if we can't come up with a shed.
Thought I just saw one, but we'll let you know if we have any luck.
Well, the sun's finally starting to get back behind the hill, as you can see. Shadows aren't quite as long as they were for a while. Man, it was hard to see back in that timber. So we're still hoping to pick up our first shed of the day here. Walked some good looking ground, but conditions just weren't perfect.
Well, we just completed another burn. Been burning all day today. I think we're done for the day, so I'm gonna go look for sheds for a little bit. Forgive me if I got sooty snot running down my nose. It's been a long couple days of burning, but I just spotted what would you say, a devilishly handsome antler. Looks like a beauty. Oh yeah, the inside tine there that's broken off, but gorgeous. Look at that. Is that a cool looking buck or what? See that inside tine he broke off, but really looks like probably a 3-year-old, but heavy mass. Awesome. Whenever I've had a long day of shed hunting, and my face and skin just doesn't seem to have the sheen that I like, I always reach for my luster cream. I don't even know if this is a facial product, but that's what I like to use. It's funny the stuff you find shed hunting.
Just found a big one. Well, bigger than I have. Zach's walking through the brush right here. I was standing right here. Can you see it to your right, Zach? I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see it. There it is back in there.
That's a pretty fresh one, buddy.
Coyotes dragged it in here.
That's a pretty one.
It's not bad.
It's your best by
By about double. I've met my goal of finding something bigger than I've found all year. I started dumping corn out in my yard, and I put a camera out on one of my small trees. And I mean, as you can see, I just have a wide open yard, but I do butt up to some ag fields, and there's some woods about a half mile from here, and there's just little patches of tiny little bits of cover around here. There's a bunch of houses not too far from my house here, but so it's not a super deery place, I suppose you would say. But I've been getting a lot of deer in my yard, and I had a couple nice bucks. One of the bucks, I believe he's probably at least a 4-year-old. I actually filmed him probably about 1.5 miles from here. I believe it was actually Valentine's Day, in a little patch of woods that I'm actually going to go walk today. But I had him in my yard, and he shed one side somewhere between like the 3rd and the 7th, and then he shed one side between the 7th and the 8th. I mean, he shed it on the 7th, because he came through early morning on the 7th, and then he came through again just before midnight on the 7th, and he had shed. So his sheds are out there somewhere. Well, I'm back here walking now. As you can see back behind me, there's sheds, not antler sheds, tool sheds. There's an old house up here. It's kind of an abandoned yard, pretty much. And then right here is just a little peninsula of woods that sticks out here into the field. And then there's some open fence lines and stuff back in here, but it's all bordered by this grass. Well, this is all worked bean stubble right here. But I just popped out here on the edge, and I'm gonna walk edges real quick. Now I just walked up and down this peninsula right behind me. I want to show you how big this track is here. But that's a big set of tracks. As dumb as this spot looked, especially on an aerial map, like this is just a spot that I don't think most people would probably pick. But there are tracks. I mean, there are deer in here using it. So I'm gonna walk all these little strips. I'm gonna walk the woods. I just found a shed that I was looking for in a goofball place. It's a big shed. It's the biggest one I found this year. Oh my gosh. Okay, you can see I've got the interstate right back here. I've just got a couple open fence rows, and then just this little island of cover that literally butts right up against the interstate. And it comes out here to a point on the north end. There aren't a ton of fresh tracks, but there are some, and they're crossing back and forth right here. My house is right back over here, probably about a mile maybe. And I just was walking up to the tip of this point, and there's a shed laying right here. I'm pretty sure it's one I'm thinking it is. Let's go pick it up. Thank you, Lord. Big, fresh, heavy shed.
Thanks for watching this episode of the White Knuckle Web Show. Tune in next week as we rejoin Zach and Ben yet again, finding more sheds.
This past season, I wanted to create the best food plots I could. And that's when we met Don Higgins and the guys from Real World Wildlife Seed. And these guys have it as bad for whitetails as we do. And when you talk to them about their product, when you talk to them about their whitetails, you get the sensation that you're talking to your brother. And it's not about business. It's not about anything but growing the best whitetails you can possibly grow with the best seed and offering the best product out there. And I truly believe Real World does that.
I had to redo my clover plots after a disaster last year. This year I came back with Real World Wildlife clover chicory mix, right? It's the chicory. It makes all the difference. It's been awesome. It's come up for a first year seeding. I've seen some good crops and some bad crops. This clover is just dynamite. I mowed it for the first time already last week, and I had 8 to 10 inches growth on most of it. It just looks incredible. Never seen anything like it. It's been the best clover stand I've ever had, bar none.